This movie felt like a separate entity from its predecessors, even though it did use familiar elements. While 28 Years Later certainly incorporates the gnarly special effects gore and established rules of the world from the previous films, it truly delivers a different vibe. It's a unique beast within the series, and honestly, I was here for it. And here's a cool fact. Danny Boyle, who directed the original 28 Days Later, returned to the director's chair for this one. And Alex Garland, who wrote the first film, also penned the script for 28 Years Later. It's fantastic to see the original creative team back at the helm after all these years, especially since it's been 23 years since their collaboration on 28 Days Later. This film is also designed to kick off a new trilogy of films in the franchise. Let's talk visuals because this movie is a treat for the eyes. The cinematography and visual storytelling through the shot selections were exceptional. Some of the camera work was just beautiful, almost whimsical at times, which might sound odd for a horror film, but it really worked. And speaking of cinematography, here's a mind-blowing detail. The film was primarily shot using an iPhone 15 Pro Max. This harks back to how the original 28 Days Later used small digital camcorders like the Canon XL1 for its raw, gritty feel, allowing them to film in deserted locations with time constraints. It's incredible to see how technology has evolved and how they continue to push boundaries with their filming techniques. The locations were another huge win. They were absolutely stunning, and I loved how the tide played such an integral role in our main character's village. It wasn't just scenery. It was a crucial element for their security, and ignoring it came with severe consequences. The rules within the story were also incredibly clear and easy to grasp, which always helps keep you immersed. Now, it wasn't all perfect. I think there were patches of dragging within the storytelling, moments that I thought could have been tightened up or even cut out. I'm going to try to not spoil anything, but there were some elements that jumped out at me that became a disconnect with the story that seemed to go against the established rules of the world within the film. While I appreciate the attempt to weave science into the narrative and add realism to certain situations, this particular moment didn't sit right with me. It's something I'm still thinking about. Despite that one hiccup, the performances in this movie were genuinely great. Ralph Fiennes as Dr. Kelson was, as always, captivating. From his very first scene, I was fascinated and eager to learn more about his character. But the real standout for me was Alfie Williams as Spike. His character development was fantastic. We see him start as this inexperienced, scared child thrust into adulthood by gaining experience on the mainland with his father. By the end, he's more experienced, brave, and adventurous, eager to explore the world on his own. I really connected with his performance and completely bought into Spike's journey and core values. Tiny little spoiler alert, you might want to fast forward 30 seconds if you don't want to hear this. The ending definitely threw me. Without giving anything away, I felt like there was a stylistic choice that was used, while interesting, was a vibe shift from the rest of the movie. It just didn't quite gel with the overall tone. And the way a certain character was brought back into the story, while a good idea on paper, felt like it could have been executed in a stronger way. Speaking of the original film, did you know that Cillian Murphy, who played Jim in the original 28 Days Later, is an executive producer on this film? While he doesn't appear in this installment, it's cool to see his continued involvement. Overall, I genuinely liked this movie, giving it a 7 out of 10. While there were a few moments of narrative disconnect, from start to finish, it was truly fascinating to watch. It pulled me in with its unique atmosphere and delivered some genuinely heart-pounding, surprisingly scary moments that really got me. 28 Years Later currently holds a 7.2 on IMDb and an impressive 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. The film was released in the United States on June 20th, 2025 with a budget of $60 million. If you've seen the other two films, I definitely think it's worth seeing. It's a fresh take on a beloved franchise that offers something new while still honoring its roots. Alright, that's my take of 28 Years Later. Now, what did you think? Did it hit the mark for you, or did it forge its own path in the franchise? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive and love talking movies, you found your community right here. Hit that like button and subscribe to Silver Screen Synergy so you don't miss out on our next cinematic adventure. I'm Wayne, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.